tuteur sur notre sort.
A slave that cannot
Le peuple burkinabé a
rebel
décidé de lutter,
does not deserve
de
pity.
lutter contre les terroristes du
We
monde,
have shared history.
qu'ils soient dans les livres d'histoire,
We
dans les
can say that
documentaires
we
ou
are
films.
forgotten
On tend
peoples
donc à
of the
balayer
world.
le rôle prépondérant qu'a joué la Russie
It's
et de l'Afrique
movies,
dans cette lutte contre le
books.
nazisme.
In many
Nous
ways, the role of
ensemble parce
Russia and
que
Africa in the fight against
actuellement, nous sommes
Nazism
là
has
pour
been
parler
forgotten.
de
But
l'avenir
today
de
we
nos
stand
peuples,
together, and
de ce qui
today
va
we're
advenir
here to
demain,
talk about the
de ce
future
monde
of our
libre auquel nous
countries
aspirons, de ce monde
and
sans
what will happen
ingérence dans nos
tomorrow
affaires
in this
internes.
new free world to which
Nous
we
avons les mêmes
aspire for,
perspectives et je souhaite que ce
where there
sommet
will
soit
be
l'occasion
no
donc
meddling in
de
our
pouvoir tisser
domestic
de très
affairs.
bonnes
We have
relations en
shared
vue d'un meilleur avenir
prospects,
de nos
and
peuples.
I hope that this
Les questions
summit
que mes générations
will provide an
se posent sont les
opportunity
suivantes.
to
Si je peux
establish
me résumer,
just
c'est de ne pas comprendre comment l'Afrique,
and
avec tant de
just-world
richesses sur
order
notre sol,
and relations between our
avec
peoples.
une nature généreuse, de l'eau, du soleil,
It's not
en
quite
abondance,
clear to me
l'Afrique est
how
aujourd'hui
come
le
that
continent le
Africa
plus
that
pauvre.
has so many resources,
L'Afrique est un
water,
continent
solar
affamé.
energy, how come that
Et comment se fait-il que les
currently
chefs
it
d'État
is the
traversent dans le
poorest
monde
continent
à
in the
mendier?
world with the
Voici des
highest
questions
levels
que
of
nous nous posons
famine?
et que nous n'avons pas de
How
réponse
come
jusque-là.
that we
Nous avons
have
l'occasion
to ask for help?
Tisser de nouvelles
We
relations.
ask ourselves, but
Et
we
j'espère
don't
que ces
get any
relations
answers.
puissent être les meilleures
We have a
pour
chance to
donner un
build
meilleur
new
avenir à nos
relationship.
peuples. Ma
Hopefully,
génération me charge
this
aussi
relationship will be for the
de
better
dire
to
que
us in
par
order
ce fait
to
de
build a
pauvreté,
better
ils sont
future
obligés
for
de
our
traverser
country.
l'océan
On behalf
pour
of my
essayer d'éradier
generation,
l'or. Ils meurent
I would
dans
like to
l'océan.
say that due to
Mais que
poverty,
prochainement,
many had
ils
to
n'iront pas
cross
traverser parce qu'ils
oceans
viendront devant nos palais pour
in
chercher leur
quest for a
existence
better
quotidienne.
life. At times they die,
Pour ce qui concerne le Burkina Faso,
at times they starve.
aujourd'hui nous sommes
It's hard for
confrontés
them to
depuis plus de
survive.
8 ans
As for Burkina
à la
Faso,
forme de manifestation
it's
la
been
plus
8
barbare, la
years
plus violente du
since
néocolonialisme
we
et de
have been
l'impérialisme.
facing the most
L'esclavage
barbaric
tend encore à
and
nous
violent
imposer.
form of
Nos
colonialism,
dévanciers nous ont
barbarism.
bien appris une chose.
We are imposed this modern
L'esclave
form of
qui n'est pas
slavery.
capable d'assumer sa révolte
We
ne
were
mérite pas
taught
que l'on
one thing.
s'apitoie sur son sort. Nous ne nous apitoyons pas sur nos sorts, on ne demande pas que quelqu'un s'apitoie sur notre
A
sort.
slave that
Le
cannot
peuple burkinabé a
rebel
décidé de lutter,
does not deserve
de
pity.
lutter contre le terrorisme à
And we
mesure de relancer
decided
son développement.
to fight
Dans cette lutte,
against terrorists,
des vaillants peuples,
that
des vaillantes populations se sont engagés
impede
à prendre
our
les armes
development
face au terrorisme.
and our struggle.
Ce que nous avons affectueusement
Our
appelé les
peoples
VDP, des
decided
volontaires.
to take up arms in order
Nous sommes
to fight
surpris de voir
terrorism.
les impérialistes traiter ces VDP de
surprised
milices et
that
de tout type.
Imperialists,
C'est décevant. Parce qu'en Europe, lorsque des peuples
they
prennent
are
les armes
called
pour défendre leur patrie, on les
militarized
traite de
units,
patriotes. Nos grands-pères ont été déportés pour
militarized
sauver l'Europe.
groups.
C'était
In
pas avec leur
Europe,
consentement,
people
contre leur gré.
take arms in order to
Et
defend
bien au
their
retour, on se
motherland.
rappelle bien
They
qu'à
are
Tiaroy,
called that
lorsqu'ils ont voulu
they say that
revendiquer
they are
leurs
not
droits élémentaires,
patriots,
ils ont été
but when
massacrés.
my
Cela ne fait rien
grandfather had to take up
Lorsque
arms,
nous,
it was
peuple,
against
nous
his
décidions
will.
de nous défendre, on nous traite de milices. Mais là n'est pas le problème. Ce qui est le problème, c'est de voir des
When
chefs
people
d'État
decide
africains
to take up
qui
arms,
n'apportent rien à ces peuples qui se battent, mais qui chantent la même chose que
there's
les
another
impérialistes.
problem. The
en nous
problem
traitant
is
de
that
milices, en nous
the
traitant
heads
donc
of African states do not give
d'hommes qui ne
anything to
respectent
these
pas les droits
people
de
who
l'homme.
fight
Et pas le droit
against
de l'homme par le droit.
imperialism. They're
Nous nous
calling
offusquons
us
contre cela et c'est
armed
honteux.
units,
Il
bandits.
faut que nous, chefs d'État africains, nous arrêtons de nous comporter
We do
donc
not
en
agree
marionnettes
with
qui
such
dansent
an
à chaque
approach.
fois que les impérialistes tirent sur les ficelles. Hier, le président Vladimir
Leaders
Poutine
of
a
African
annoncé donc
states should not
l'envoi
be
de céréales en
puppets
Afrique. Nous sommes bien contents.
when
Nous lui disons merci
imperialists
pour cela. Mais aussi, c'est un message
treat them
passé à nous,
like
chefs d'État
that.
africains. Parce qu'au prochain
I would
forum,
like
nous ne
to
devrons pas
convey
venir
a
ici
message to heads
sans
of
avoir
African
assuré, pour ceux
states.
qui ne connaissent pas la guerre, l'autosuffisance alimentaire de nos peuples. Nous devons prendre l'expérience de ceux qui ont pu déjà
We need
atteindre cela en Afrique,
to ensure
tisser de bonnes relations ici et
self-sufficiency
tisser de
of
meilleures
our
relations avec
peoples, of our
la Fédération
countries.
de Russie pour pouvoir assouvir les besoins de nos populations. Je ne serai
We
pas
need to
peut-être long, le
ensure
temps est
food
imparti et très court.
self-sufficiency, and we
Nous
need to
sommes obligés
meet
de nous
all the needs
arrêter
of
à un
our
moment donné.
peoples.
Mais je voudrais terminer en disant que nous devons donc rendre hommage à nos peuples,
Since
à nos
there's
peuples
not
qui se battent.
much time left for my intervention, let me
Gloire à nos
pay
peuples,
tribute to
dignité à
our
nos
peoples
peuples,
that
victoire à nos
fight
peuples. La patrie ou la
gives all
mort,
the
nous
evil.
vaincrons.
Glory to our
Merci,
people,
camarades.
respect to our people, and victory to our people. Thank you, comrades.
Africa has been forgotten. IBRAHIM Traore says Africa has been forgotten, which is very true. Africa has been forgotten because a lot of things are happening out here and people don't realize that Africa should be placed at the center of it all. Because what is Africa? Africa is this continent that gives life to the world. Africa is this continent that when the world needs solution for every problem, they should come to Africa. They should consider Africa. Without Africa in the picture, there is no solution. Africa is this continent that all the people with problems, they have to come to Africa so they can be able to get the solutions to their problems. Africa is the mother of the world. Africa is this continent that supplies food in the whole world. Africa is this continent with natural food, with everything natural sceneries, beautiful sceneries, oceans, lakes. You see, talk about beautiful beaches, you come to Africa, beautiful mountains, you come to Africa. Yeah? Everything good. Africa is this place where all the tourists needs to come to Africa to explore. Africa is this place where minerals are all over and every single mineral in the whole world comes from Africa. Without Africa in the picture, there is no solution to the problems. Therefore, in anything we do, in anything we want to say, in everything we want to make, we must put Africa at the center of it all. But Africa seems to have been forgotten. Why? Because the imperialists are making Africa to be forgotten because they don't want Africa and Africans to feel like they are people with strength and they are people who can save the world. They are painting a picture even to Africans to show out that Africa is poor. And you've seen even white people coming out sometime and they say, you see, we were lied about Africa and so on and so forth. Because they are now realizing that, you see, what we were told about Africa is not what Africa is. Africa is different from what we were told about it. And IBRAHIM Traore says that Africa seems to have been forgotten. We have contributed so much in building the economy of this world in the most Western countries. We have contributed so much in solving many problems in the world. Sometimes we don't do it willingly, but they are making us do it by force. Sometimes they are manipulating us into doing them by force. We have contributed so much in a lot of things, in building this world, the riches of this world. Talk about the infrastructure. Talk about the like everything. Everything, the wealth, the countries that are rich, they have in one way or the other associated themselves with Africa for them to be rich. But Africa seems to have been forgotten. People don't talk about it. People think that, but we know. Sometimes people used to think we don't know, like people knew we don't know about these things. And that is why we used to keep quiet and don't talk about anything, don't say anything. But right now, people are waking up and everybody is understanding that Africa is big. And in this world, Africa is the backbone of the economy, the backbone of food, the backbone of infrastructure, the backbone of good health, the backbone of good education, the backbone of the money that is circulating in this world, Africa. Because Africa is blessed. There is now what is happening in Africa is a lot of injustice and terrorism all over. Like there is no peace. People are fighting and people are killing each other. We are killing even our brothers. A brother killing a brother. That's what IBRAHIM Traore is talking about. a brother killing a brother because of resources and minerals and all these things. The West have caused chaos in Africa to an extent we cannot even withstand our own selves. And therefore, it has been so difficult to recognize Africa. And Ibrahim Traore, in that speech, he said, we want justice. We want just and we want peace for the people of Africa and for the continent of Africa, for our people. That is what we are fighting for. And we realized we cannot get this peace, and it's very difficult for us to be able to get this peace without fighting. Because these people are doing a lot of things. They come to us, they force us into doing something. Sometimes they come in with threats that if you don't do this, we shall do this. If you don't do this, we shall do this. We shall kill you. We shall eliminate you. So we are used to it. Because Traore is asking a question. We don't understand. And this question we've been asking for a very long time. But nobody has been able to answer this question. How comes that Africa, with all these minerals, with all these resources, with all these fertile lands, with all these beautiful sceneries, with all these tourist sites and on every single thing we're having in Africa, how comes we are today the poorest continent in the whole world? How? It's not possible. But we've come to realize it is because the West is sitting on our heads. Like the West are the ones who are dominating here. They have come here, they are dominating without us knowing they are dominating. Okay? They are manipulating our leaders, our politicians, and therefore they sit on us. Everything we are using, every rule and governance we are using, we are being governed by the West. Without us ourselves knowing that we are being governed by the West. Because we cannot be rich and poor at the same time. When we have everything that can make us rich, we are definitely supposed to be rich. And therefore, we have decided to rebel and to fight. Because a slave that cannot rebel does not deserve pity. A slave that cannot rebel does not deserve pity. Say therefore, we understand, to the Western people, to the imperialists, we are slaves. But these kind of slaves are different. Do you know why? Because we are kind of slaves who are going to rebel. Not sitting down and listening to what you're going to say, and if you tell us do this, we do it. No. We have decided we must and we are going to rebel. Because we are slaves who have decided to rebel. We shall fight, because if we don't fight, this will continue. This will continue. We have to come out and we have to fight for our rights. We have to fight for justice. We have to fight for peace. We have to fight for the independence of our country, for the freedom of our countries and our continent as African people and as black people. You know, when we start fighting, they say, these people, they are terrorists. They start calling us terrorists. They start calling us bandits and all those sorts of names. They give us many names. We are terrorists, we are bandits. But let me tell you something. We are fighting in our own country. We haven't gone to any other country out there, maybe in the US or other country, to fight there. We are fighting in our own countries. So even if we are terrorists, we are terrorizing our own countries, in our own continent. If we are bandits, we are fighting in our own country, not in your country. So you are the ones who are supposed to be called to be referred as terrorists, because you are in our countries, even without even any legal right to be in our country. You're just in our country. Yeah? What does that mean? It means you are the one who should be called a bandit or a terrorist. Anyway, we are used to being called terrorists. We are used to being called bandits, like Muammar Gaddafi was called a terrorist because he was fighting for the rights of his people. Yeah? We have many other people who are called terrorists because they were fighting for the rights of their people. And we have also decided we are going to fight. Call us terrorists or not, we don't care. We don't give a shit. We have to do this because we are fighting for our countries. You know? Because if we don't fight, Nobody is coming to fight for us. We have decided we must rebel. And by the leadership of King IBRAHIM Traore, the president of Africa, and many other kings who died, who are actually giving us this momentum, like they are giving us hope. Every time we look at their stories, we find hope that actually we had people who tried this and they are no more. We are also trying and we know we shall get it. Where they were unable to reach, we are going to reach there. IBRAHIM Traore is the leader and he is the king. And with him, we are going to conquer the world, because Africa is meant to conquer the world. Do let me know what you have to say on the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read all of them and give a response where possible. I am the African Streamline. I love you, my black brothers from Caribbean, from diaspora, and from Africa in particular. You are great people. I love you people so much. So much. Keep on tuning in. Keep on coming here. Even your first time to be here, press the subscription box. And for the returning subscribers, you know what? I salute you guys so much and I love you. Adios, muchachos, my great people.